Students, let's continue with the first chapter from your political science book of grade 11, and the name of the chapter is Introduction to Political Science. We have already gone through the first part of the chapter, which is dealing with the definitions and point of views of political science, and now we are going to start with the five major dimensions and their scopes. Okay, so the first dimension given in your book is a political theory. Political theory, I would like to say that there are two kinds of theorists here. One is the modern theorist and the other is the classical theorist. The classical theorists have told that political science is the study how a government or a state works, how the government works, how the government is ruling, what are its actions, or what are the institutions needed, what will be their power. All these things are being evaluated or defined by political theorists. But modern thinkers are saying political theory is not about how a state works or how the government is ruling a state. It is also about how the government keeps a relationship with the other countries, other nations, and how they interact within the state or outside the state. This is a point of view of the modern theorist. Next, you can see there is in your book they're saying about political theory features and nature. Okay, political theory, like an ideology, also includes a set of beliefs, values, ideas, or stand accepted by the people in the process of governance. Okay, so they are trying to say us that political theory is related to state, government, and political institutions. It is telling us about the philosophy, which philosophy the government or which principle the government is will be adapting in order to rule the state. Okay, like for example socialism. This is also a point, theory, principle, a point which is adapted by our government. So like this, which theories or which system or ideology or principle, belief, all this will be adapted. These are already defined by some great politicians, or you can say great political theorists, and then these are being accepted by the states. Okay, what are its scopes? So study of state. What is the meaning of this? We can, from this theory, if we study, what are the things that we can come to know? First of all, study of state in the past, how the ancient Greece people used to rule their state. From there we can have an idea, and if we like any point we can apply it at present stage. So again, study of state in present age. So now we are having basically the sovereign states. We are having sovereign states are those which are free from any external interference in their own country. Okay, study of state in future. This means if the future they are defining how shall the state be well defined in future. Okay, if certain questions are there, like if today India is following democracy, so what will be the future now of India, like that. Study of government is an essential element of the state. Okay, to study government involves a study of three organs. Okay, legislature, executive, judiciary, and in other terms you can say power sharing and the position within this country. They are saying about this. Okay, next is study of political theory and ideologies. There are different types of ideology which evolved from time to time, like for example fascism, Nazism, Gandhiism, liberalism, democratic and socialism. All these things were from time to time we got in political science, and which is adapted by the states now or by the countries now. A study of all political science. Politics involves a study of all political science working in all states. It seeks to study the political system, Western as well as non-Western, and developing as well as non-developing countries. Okay, so political science doesn't deal with only developed or underdeveloped, like that. So it is dealing with all the countries. Study of man as a political being. So man is a political being because directly or indirectly we are always linked with politics. Okay, directly or indirectly all human beings are related to politics, directly or indirectly. There is no human being can say that they are not involved. Somebody is saying yes, I am directly involved, and some are saying I am not, but directly or indirectly we are involved in political matters. Study of interest groups and pressure groups, civil society and political parties. So you have to understand what is the meaning of this term. Study of interest groups. Interest groups are the suppose few people have come together and formed a group in order to fulfill their certain interest. That interest group is having only one particular aim. They will not contest an election, but they are forming in order to gain their aim. They are having only one particular interest, and that interest will be common. Okay, that group will have one common interest. Pressure group is the same thing. Again, this pressure group is continuously creating, you can say, pressure on the government in order to gain something from the government. They are also having certain particular aim. It can be for a particular community. Next we are having civil society. Civil society and means society itself, and the political parties are those which contest their elections. Okay, these are the matters which the political theory is actually dealing with, and there are few more points. And next we are having comparative politics. Comparative politics, from the term itself you can understand that there is a compare between two or more than two nations, and then we try to study the difference and understand the meaning. Like for example, India is a federal state. Okay, we can take India as a federal example of federal state, but again if we start comparing India with USA, we will find that USA is a federal state and India is a quasi federal state. Quasi federal means half of the points are federal and half are unitary. Then to understand unitary, what we need to do, we have to study the system being followed, or the government which is being followed in the UK. So this is a comparative study. We are studying about UK first in order to understand what is unitary system. Then we have to study about USA in order to understand the federal system, and then we can study about India, and we can understand why India is being called as a quasi-federal state. Okay, so we are comparing these three nations, its system of working, and then we are understanding how it is actually being ruled or actually being run. So what is the scope of this subject? Few main topics we will try to understand. Study of political study of this comparative politics. First of all, what they are going to do, we are going to understand the political behavior. Okay, how each different countries is having their own political behavior in different, when they are following different kind of ideologies. If there is a unitary form of government, how the political behavior is going to be, how the government is going to act, what are the similarities and differences between UK and between USA and India, we can compare. Okay, so if in India, as we are saying that India is having a quasi federal state, what kind of behavior the government is doing, what kind of power sharing the government is doing, that these are the things we can understand. Okay, so we have to compare and then we can understand. This is the basic concept of this matter. Next we are having international relations. From the term itself you can understand what's the meaning of it. International relation is a major area of political science. It is having vast scope actually. And this is a you can say this is a independent independent subject also. Okay, international relations. Here we need to understand that how a country is dealing with other nations. This is being studied here. That means what will be the national interest. Like for example, India makes 5 years plan. Every 5 years we make a certain plans. So what is the national interest? Okay, for 5 years how the government is going to act with the other nations. What is then we are having foreign policy. Foreign policy means what kind of policy the government will adopt in different kind of situations. For example, when there was second world war going on, India got independence, but India was not able to decide whom to support just after the second world war. Okay, that was two major powers came up, one was USA and one was USSR. So that time India was not able to understand whom to support and whom to not. India opted that India is going to be neutral. India is not going to support either of the power blocks. So that is a foreign policy. Okay, that time it was NAM. So you can say India adopted NAM foreign policy during that time. So this is also foreign policy. International relation, regional organizations, economic you can say instruments, all these things like trade between two different nations, okay, foreign aid, all these things comes under this criteria. And international relation today is very important because it is helping in this globalization period. It helps us to solve the global problems and issues. Okay, and there are MNCs also, which we must not forget, which is working as multinational companies which are working as great traders from time to time, from in between different countries. And then we are having globalization. As I told you, in this globalization era, international relations is playing a very vital role.